Okay, I'm going to move right on ahead into this fifth message on the rapture. And there's hope for those who miss the rapture, but it'll cost them their lives. Perhaps because of God's mercy, this is the easy way out in view of what is going to come. Jesus breaks the first of 5 seals. The first 4 are about the horsemen, the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. The black horse is a warrior who comes to battle and win victories. The second horse takes peace from the world. That's the red horse. And the third horse is a famine, recession, depression, worse than the 30s. And the fourth horse is the pale horse. Now this one is death, and the grave follows close behind him. They'll use famine, sickness, and disease, and even wild animals to kill, having given authority over 1/4 of the earth. And now if that real estate, 1/4 of the earth, includes the Middle East, that whole area, I don't know what part of real estate this is, but they've given 1/4 of the earth. When the fifth seal is broken, and this is the one we're after now, the first wave of martyrs, 6 verse 9. The second wave and third wave, the numbers of the brothers and sisters followed by fellow servants of Jesus, Revelation 6 verse 11. Revelation 7 verse 9. After this I saw a vast crowd, too great to count, from every nation, tribe, and people, and language, standing in front of the throne before the Lamb of Jesus. Revelation 7 verse 14. They are from the tribulation, now the enemies from above and beneath. Then the stars fell from the sky to the earth like green figs falling from a tree shaken by a strong wind. These are not the stars we see at night when we look up at the sky. These are falling angels. The first one mentioned is wormwood or bitterness, Revelation 8:10. In 9:1 it says, I saw a star that had fallen from heaven to earth with a key. Now if he fall from heaven, he's a fallen angel. So he's going to release the beast. He fell with a key, and this fallen angel had a key to the bottomless pit. And he releases the angel of the bottomless pit, and his name is Abaddon, or destroyer. Total evil. With him comes locusts and scorpion-like creatures. So we're being attacked. The earth's going to be being attacked from above and beneath by these things. The 2 witnesses are mentioned in Revelation 11 verse 1 to 3. They prophesied for 3.5 years using signs and wonders. Revelations 19:10. For the essence of the prophecy is to give a clear witness for Jesus. Meanwhile, the Antichrist is like a boiling pot ready to spill over. Total evil. He makes Hitler and Stalin look like Bert and Ernie on Sesame Street. After the taking away of the church, God focuses now upon the people of Israel. And he anoints and marks 144,000, 12,000 from each tribe, from the house of Israel to evangelize. They are spotless and blameless, the Bible says. They would have to be, so no harm could come upon them in this time. So now the question arises, who are the 2 witnesses? Matthew 17:1 to 3, the mount where Jesus was transfigured, he took John and 2 others there. His appearance changed. He and his clothes shone, and he was joined by Moses and Elijah. In this case, Moses and Elijah represent Moses' law and Elijah the prophets. They, or one of these, could be the 2 witnesses. Elijah, he's represents the prophets. And he's one of these people, like Melchizedek in Hebrews 7:11. He seems to have very little lineage or very little beginnings. But he comes from Tishbe in Gilead, is all it says. And he appears at the time of Ahab, the most wicked king Israel ever had to this point. And Ahab marries Jezebel, who is a Satan worshiper. a worship of Baal. And between the two of them, they're totally wicked. And right in the middle of this, Elijah shows up. And it says in Malachi 4 verse 5, look, I'm sending Elijah before the great and terrible day of the Lord arrives. John, book, he wrote in Revelations 10:11, then I was told by the angel, you must witness as well. Prophesy again before many people, nations, language, and kings. So he could be one as well. I think that it could be any person, a Messianic Jew as well, and a Gentile Christian as well, could be these two witnesses as well. But I guess we'll see someday. Now, in the meantime, there's also, I should mention, Enoch was like Elijah. He was translated. He never seen death. And the Bible says it's appointed once for man to die and to judgment. So it could be Enoch as well. So there you have the possibilities. After 3.5 years, the Antichrist, filled with the spirit of Abaddon, and also he has an associate called the false prophet. And now he kills these two witnesses, but they're finished their prophecy. And after 3.5 days, the Bible says they came back to life, and God took them up to heaven, and people watched them rise up and be received by heaven. But now the Antichrist goes ballistic, and he's going to demand that he be worshipped as God. And he presents himself as the one only God, and of course he raises an abomination before the temple. So then, of course, there has to be a temple there as well. So that's why I say that as these 3.5 years of witnesses of the two prophets, the temple is being completed or is already completed, because he takes it over and tries to reign. During this time of his reign, of course, there is no restraint. I mean, there's super tsunamis, there's super hurricanes, and super earthquakes, and all kind of chaos things happening on the earth. There's total upheaval. Everything's being shaken because of absolutely no protection. And of course, at this time, this Antichrist, filled with the spirit of Abaddon, demands that every person has a mark. And if you take that mark, there's absolutely no help for you. It's done. You're going to hell. That's what the Bible clearly says. So you can't buy or sell without using this mark, so you'd have to defend yourself or live off the land or beg or whatever you have to do to get by without this mark. You know, because once you take the mark, it's too late. You're going to hell. And that's sad to say, but that's what it says in the Bible. That's what it is. And that's when the tire hits the road. And so we want to be prepared. We want to know Jesus and invite him into our hearts and let him change our lives. And also fellowship with him in prayer and just spend some time with him in his word. And, you know, as you read the Bible, he will speak to you. And also your prayer time. And you can lift up others for their salvation as well. Because the time is short. We don't know if it's going to be a day, a week, or 100 years, or 1,000 years. We just know that time is short. For you are in these last days. So be prepared to give your heart to Jesus. And just, it's not about rules. Jesus said it's finished. So it's a complete deal. You don't have to say, okay, I have Jesus and I'm going to keep a certain day or not eat pork. It's not like that. He did a complete job. All we have to do is walk in the victory that he won for us. He's complete. He's already done it. So we walk in victory.